Hello, and welcome to Sutro Sidetalk, episode 143. I'm your host, Kamron, and with me is...
James Seelig.
We are back after a week of no episode for the first time in pre-pandemic, I think is the
It's been
last
at
time
least a couple of years, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we were able to actually maintain weekly episodes, which I'm really proud of us for doing. And the reason, of course, we missed one was because I had surgery on the 14th. And I'm like, the last episode, if you heard me, I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be fine by the end of next week. I'll be able to do it. And then that came and I'm like, it's not happening, guys. Yeah, sorry. So I got surgery on my nose. I'll keep details minimum. They basically had to do a bunch of things in there and I've been recovering. So it's still I'm still recovering for sure. This episode won't be that long either, probably 45 to an hour at most. And then I got a follow-up with the doctor tomorrow so I could find out how I'm doing. But pretty much I've been very, very much on the low, no physical activities really, just watching a lot of TV and stuff. I only recently started playing games again. Like the first week, I didn't even touch anything except maybe Animal Crossing, more for therapeutic reasons than anything, and the fact that my eyes could take it. But more or less, I'm alive, obviously. So we got that. I'm not obviously I don't have as much energy to be like, whoa, Sutro Sidetalk and stuff. But we're here, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you're feeling a bit better. But yeah,
no, definitely better than I was in the first week. But yeah, this week it's been more of a weird on and off. Like I'm good, then the next day, man, this is worse. So it's been fun. But how are you doing, man? It's been
doing okay. Just busy week of work, trying to stay regular, going to the gym every day that I got the energy to go. So I don't know, I've just been wicked tired this weekend, so maybe I overdid it.
For sure. Yeah. We this week got a more news centric episode with some leftovers. Of course, still I got plenty of shows and movies to talk about, if not more now, that I've been binging a lot throughout the past couple weeks. So I added more to the list. I tried to watch things that I wouldn't probably talk about here, just so I wouldn't have the list stack up again like it used to. So that helped kind of delay things a bit, if anything.
Yeah. My biggest problem is I just keep going back and forth between Destiny and Horizon right now. So I'm chipping away at those. I just don't have anything new to have final thoughts on. I have a couple things, but not much.
Speaking of which, we will have our Destiny episode. It will be next week. We've already scheduled it. It will be recorded on Sunday. Andreas will be there as well. And we will dive deep into it. And we've had enough time now to pretty much talk about a lot of aspects of Witch Queen, plus Season of the Lost, and then some of Season of the Risen. So it'll be a good time.
I think I just finished the Season of the Risen stuff. I got that cutscene you were talking about, I think, yesterday.
I was going to say, we would do normally, when the season's over, talk about it. But at this point, depending on what we saw, I guess we could just talk about the whole thing now. So it ended sooner than expected, I guess you could say. But yeah, that'll be next week. I'm actually doing some good progress in my own Destiny stuff, so I should be playing Horizon 2 this week. Or this coming week for sure. I'm excited to finally get into it.
I love how we were we could totally do Horizon 2 and Destiny Witch Queen in 2 weeks? It'll be fine.
And now Ghostwire Tokyo's out, and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't even I still have to play Deathloop and some other stuff. So it's just
I keep seeing that on my cross media bar. It's not even called that anymore. And I'm just oh yeah, I never finished that. I know how to do the perfect day now. I just got to do it.
Yeah, I think by the time, I feel you'll finish Horizon 2 before me, and you'll probably finish Deathloop before me, but well, at least have some good topics there and stuff. And it's funny too, I wrapped up Yashahime today, that anime that's the sequel to Inuyasha. I didn't realize it was the series finale, but if anything, I think I might try to get Momo on, of course, again to talk that with us. So that'll be fun. But we got a lot to talk about. We've got that. There's Moon Knight coming soon. The first episode of Halo came out. I don't know if you watched it yet.
No, not
I
yet.
think Game Pass people can watch it without Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
Not too
there's
sure.
like a deal going on where you get like a month of that, and I think
Yeah.
they're doing like a month or so of Marvel Unlimited. I
I
don't
will
know how
say,
that works, but
first episode, and like I'll just tell you guys now, it's pretty bad.
oh
Yeah, but I mean, it was better than I expected, but that's because my expectations were in the dirt. And then
yeah,
it's we'll have a whole lot to say. I'm
yeah,
like, I skipped Cowboy Bebop. I won't skip this, but it's yeah.
yeah.
It's
My current plan is to wait for the whole season to come out and just do like
you're gonna
the
torture
one.
yourself that long in a row. It's like the
I
opposite of Demon Slayer, where you're like Demon Slayer, you're like, okay, I get why you'd want to wait for it all to be out because of the cliffhangers are killing you. Whereas this
yeah.
one's like, no, do it a week apart so you give yourself time to breathe because you don't want to watch that much of it in a row. You're gonna hate yourself.
I think for me, it's just that I don't feel like spending money on Paramount Plus right now.
No, for sure.
So I'd rather just wait for it all to be out, just like get through it.
Like I said, just check out the whatever Game Pass Ultimate people or whatever get because I think you, like I said, I don't think you need
It's only a
the.
month though, so I
Oh,
don't
it's
think
only a
that would.
month. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah,
So
then
I don't
wait.
think it would cover like the length of time it's going to take for the season to come out because I think it's like 8 episodes and they're doing it a week apart.
Okay, yeah, definitely wait then because then once it's on there, you can then use that month after you watch that to watch as much else as you can.
Yeah,
But all right,
all the Star Trek.
don't watch Star Trek. That's not it's not something you want to do. Bless you. I've
I mean,
heard
there's good Star Trek,
the old
not any
stuff.
of the new stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say the new stuff is yeah. But all right, news this week. We've got multiple pieces, but because we got 2 weeks worth. Uh,
Oh,
only
yeah,
two of
that's
them will
why.
be normal time. The rest we're gonna kind of do like 1 minute each. So it'll be
Yeah,
it'll be very short. If you want to get the timer ready, we'll just
I
probably
got it.
jump right into it,
All right.
starting with the short stuff.
All
All
right.
right. Number one, the game Quarry was announced from Massive Games. Those are the guys that made the Dark Pictures anthology games we've gotten recently, as well as Until Dawn. And this is
Yeah,
basically Until Dawn's spiritual successor.
I really liked Until Dawn. I never actually finished a campaign, which is funny because it's not that long. It's like a horror movie, but I really liked how like they're very good at telling a branching storyline and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I'm pretty excited for the Quarry.
I am also excited. I haven't played Until Dawn yet, and I know I have it on PlayStation Plus, so I'm like, it's among those games where I'm like post Deathloop and maybe Ghostwire Tokyo if I buy that.
Yeah.
I'm playing like Until Dawn and Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat 11 and stuff, but uh it comes out in the summer, right? I think that's what it said. Or it's like it comes out this year. It's like a September.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, so it does make me want to play Until Dawn fast, but probably not the Dark Pictures anthology, but at least Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, the Suicide Squad game got delayed
Yeah.
till 2023. Surprising, I want to say no one. Like
Yeah.
they haven't
Well,
talked about it, and what they do show is usually honestly nothing. They haven't really shown us anything. They
we've
just kind of
had
give us
one gameplay reveal,
a
which
little
looked
bit.
okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I'm not like super excited for this game anyway, so I don't really care that it was delayed much, but I
Yeah.
guess sucks for the people that are excited for it.
I mean, the minute they showed Gotham Knights coming to holiday 2022, which,
Is that still coming out this year too?
yeah, that's what made it kind of
We'll see.
guaranteed to be delayed to 2023. It was like a couple weeks ago, they gave the release date of holiday 2022 for Gotham Knights. So
Okay.
they're probably sticking to that. So somewhere between October and December. Um, yeah. And then GTA Plus, a $5.99 a month subscription for PS5 and Series X/S.
I guess that's cheaper than I thought it was.
Yeah, you get 500,000 or $50,000 in game currency each month, plus I guess exclusive cars and properties and access to buy exclusive properties and stuff. This game is almost 10 years old,
Yeah,
and they're now putting a subscription in.
I tried playing GTA Online a while ago with you, and it was just so hard to get into like a group and do stuff together. Like it might be super fun, like playing alone, but
I mean, it's
I don't know.
basically they're. I guess it's not insane considering they already have a bunch of microtransactions in there, but now they're
Yeah,
just like, here, you don't have to buy one-off stuff. You can do this instead and keep the cash flow going, but keep getting stuff every month.
yeah.
I
I feel
guess
like
it's
it's
good if you're an elite in that game or whatever,
yeah.
but
I was about to say that. Like it feels like it's probably gonna be cool for people who love GTA Online and just like that's their game they play all the time because they like it's fun for them. Probably fine.
I find it completely unnecessary though. And the
Yeah.
fact that they've done a very poor job in supporting Red Dead. I honestly, it's funny
Yeah,
because
that's true.
ever since GTA 5 Online, I mean, it's like the amount they support this game, I feel like Rockstar has dropped as a quality developer in terms of like putting out good games. You might
Yeah.
get one, but it's like
Eh,
once every 10 years, and then it's just now this milking of an online activity.
Yeah. Blessing Jr. on Kind of Funny actually made a good point because he does play this game like a lot. He finds it strange that they would after all this time introduce like a paid subscription, like a monthly subscription, and there's still so much of the game that's just like straight up broken. Like we just talked about, or I just mentioned the difficulty of like getting together in a group and like
Mm,
doing group stuff. That's still a problem. And he says it's because like this game literally still feels like a PS3 and a 360 game because that's where it started. So yeah, that is a weird point, or I guess good point that he made that it's strange that they would focus on how can we make more money versus how can we make it feel like a better experience.
yeah, it's just all cosmetic bullshit and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So it's depressing to see how they've kind of dropped in. I guess integrity is the right word, actually, in terms
Mm,
of a
maybe.
developer. Their integrity is dropping, I feel like. Next up, The Witcher 4 was, I guess, formerly announced, like formally announced and stuff. With
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5, it's being developed in that, and then you see the crest is School of the Lynx, which is a new school. So it's going to be a
Oh, I
brand
didn't
new
even
line of
notice.
Witchers. Yeah.
I didn't look that
So
close.
that's the all the news we got pretty much is new engine and a new school completely. Because we've gotten,
Interesting.
what is it, cat, bear, which for bear they say like I guess Ursa. There's the snake, the wolf, which we know, and then like one or two others. But um, I guess we'll see like a new line come in, and it'll be interesting because the whole thing is the Witchers go extinct or they're
Yeah.
like depleting. So it'll be interesting seeing the rise of a new school and what exactly that means. But uh 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see. I
3 to 5 years,
mean,
3 years minimum. I highly doubt it would be even ready in 3 years. So I'm expecting 5 years for this game.
I want to hope that after the debacle of like Cyberpunk 2077, especially after like the first trailer they showed was so early and the only date that they gave was when it's ready,
Yeah,
and it was not ready at all. So well, it was somewhat playable in some formats, but anyway,
that's
I
exactly how you want your game to ship.
yeah, so like I feel like they're gonna hopefully take their time and make sure when they release this, it absolutely works.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I like don't get excited for this game. I mean, get excited, I guess, but like you're not going to hear anything for a long
Yeah.
time.
Wait till
And
we actually see something.
yeah, and I don't think we're going to see anything for 2 years. And then from there, like I said, I think it's going to be 5 years. So it'll be
Yeah,
closer to 2030 when we get this game. That's what
probably.
I'm feeling. So just that's up there. And then last
Damn, wait,
little,
really? 2030?
I mean, 5 years. Yeah, it'll be like 2027 or something.
Okay. So you're
Sorry, it's
rounding
not
up a
that
little
close
bit.
to two. Yeah,
I
my
was just
bad.
like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like 8 years.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, sorry. Yeah, it'll be 20, like probably 2027 though, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Spartacus might be revealed next week, which is that PlayStation Plus 2.0, I guess you could say, PlayStation Now combination.
Yeah, I'm
Where
very
we'd
curious.
yeah, and then the whole thing, the big thing about it is we'd get PS1 through 3 games in there, which would be a massive library uptick, and it would honestly change a lot for Sony. But they said as soon as next week, so it could be this week coming that this episode comes out, or it could be the week after. It'll be interesting to see exactly how that's going to go, because you'd think they would want to do it around like an event, like their big showcase. But if they do it
Eh,
standalone, like it's also, it's fine.
I
Um,
mean, we've had state of plays where Sony puts out a notice that it's coming in like 2 days and then
yeah,
they do it. So that could be within the week.
that's
We'll
true.
see.
And if they're cool, they'll add some God of War news, at least in a release quarter for this year. We know it's coming this year. It's just like, is it coming in the fall or the summer? Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? And then to the big news. So this will be more like around 5 minutes each. First off, we got the state of play for Hogwarts Legacy, and that was everything I've wanted.
Dude, the entire time I was just like, so they basically made Bully, but in Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I kind of want to play that.
I
The
love
only part
that.
where
Yeah,
it got weird for me was like the combat. It just looks kind of goofy to me, but it also looks like it could be really fun.
yeah. I mean, it shows like everything from all the different spells you're rolling around, dodging. So it's not even like doing
It was like
necessarily
the
like.
air juggling for me that I was like, okay.
It'll be interesting the way how the magical physics will work. Just because with magic and that kind of thing, it's
Yeah, you
a
can
lot different
literally do
than what
whatever
we're.
you want.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how they were able to really manifest that and make it like work. So that'll be pretty cool. And then like, I'm just excited because I've wanted a game like this for so long, where I could just go to school at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go to school, you're gonna do all these activities outside of school in Hogsmeade, but also the Dark Forest and surrounding areas.
Yeah, the world looks like weirdly huge. Like I thought
Yeah.
it was just going to be the castle, and it's like I don't know how big the outside map is going to be, but it looks like there was a lot. Like they talked about, different villages you could fly to and
Hmm.
like little side quests and stuff to find. Like it looks dense.
You're set to become the most famous wizard of that century, since it's still
And
the
that's the other weird
1800s.
thing. Like it's interesting that it's like long before the actual events of Harry Potter, like the
Hmm.
the book series. Like so
There's a Goblin Rebellion.
yeah, I don't know, it sounds really cool.
Yeah. So it'll be really fun that you could do Quidditch and all that stuff. I'm just happy that, because sometimes things that you really want, especially if they're the most anticipated like game for you, sometimes don't work out. Back for
Yeah.
Blood, Godzilla versus Kong, like these, not all these things go that well. Army of the Dead and stuff like, uh you get some disappointments here and there. And of course, I feel like God of War is a guarantee of a good time, but this game has been like, I've been waiting for this for so long, and the fact that we saw it and it looks good, like it looks like it's working, makes me pretty happy.
Yeah, I think the only reason why I would have been nervous is just because like we've had Harry Potter games before, and I've literally never been interested in picking any of them up because they never look that good. So
I mean,
this one actually looks
they're all the like movie license games, I guess you could
that
say.
too, and like that back in the era of like movie tie-in licensed games, they almost never were actually like that good.
Yeah, I think the
Uh,
exception was what, Spider-Man 2.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that. The only part of the state of play that I thought was kind of stupid, and this is like a minor gripe, was they were like, there's even little puzzles you'll find like if you explore Harry Potter, or not Harry Potter, the Hogwarts. And there was like a picture that they tapped a button and it unfolded the wall into like a secret passage, and it was just like, that's not really a puzzle. He just hit a button, but whatever.
It's
Like,
a magic puzzle.
yeah, but at the same time, like finding hidden things around the castle, that sounds super fun to me. Just
It
like I
does.
love searching for secrets. I'm one of those people that like when I'm playing a game and the game tells me specifically like go right or whatever, I'll intentionally go left just to be like, well, what's that way though?
Yeah.
I just want to see.
Yeah. No, for sure. Uh all in all, like, it looks good. It comes what, also holiday 2022, they said?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they said like towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so we'll get it then. Honestly, that is the perfect winter game, it looks like, or the perfect like Christmas time game. You're just like, oh boy, starting Thanksgiving, if it's around at around then, like I can imagine myself playing this like throughout December.
Also interesting, you're a 5th-year transfer student.
Where are you transferring from? Like what?
Huh?
What?
And why? Mystery.
Were you homeschooled? I feel like you were probably homeschooled.
That'd be so funny if you were like not even aware you were a wizard. No, that
I
doesn't even
think. I mean, it makes sense. Do you really want to run around as a 10-year-old, or like I guess an 11-year-old?
Nah, that's fair. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes sense that
the
they'd
fact that
go
you're
like, let's
15.
make you like 15.
Yeah, I appreciate that honestly, because then if it was like you're coming in like during your 5th year and you've been there the other 4, and it's just like, oh hey, it's me, your friend. I'm like, I don't know you.
Oh, I also okay. Another thing I really liked was just the breadth, I guess, of character customization.
Mhm.
You can really make your own character, and like they even let you go into like each one of the 4 houses.
Yes.
So like that part in the trailer where you, I guess, are doing Defense Against the Dark Arts class and you square up against. They showed someone, I think, from like Gryffindor going up against someone from Slytherin.
You were
The Slytherin
Gryffindor,
person,
yeah.
yeah, and the Slytherin person was like, "Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome." Like he's gonna try to fuck you up and stuff. And I wonder, like, well, if you were Slytherin, like, would he be like also still Slytherin but nice to you, or would
I
it be
think
like
all the
someone
characters are
else?
still the same. It's supposed to, the way they were showing at least the characters you're interacting with, they had one from each house. So you're still friends with all of them, it seems like. So the guy from Slytherin, the woman, the girl from Gryffindor, the girl from Hufflepuff, I want to say, who feels like a lesser Luna Lovegood for some reason, and stuff like that. So I do see like they'll probably be the same. They might change dialogue slightly depending on your house, but otherwise, I think you'll be able to have relationships or friendships, I guess, with all these different characters and stuff. So
yeah, looks like a fun game.
Definitely. And the other piece of news is that recently created studio Haven, headed by Jade Raymond, who did, she was big in helping make the early Assassin's Creed games, Watch Dogs, and then had an unfortunate hand of making the Battlefront 2 campaign that was trash.
And I believe she tried to partner with Google for like Stadia stuff, and then Google was like, you know what, never mind, game development's expensive and it takes a long time, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, she was potentially making their first party game.
I think they did put out one of like the 2 or 3 games that they were planning, and it was just kind of like mediocre. But anyway,
even less
Haven Studios though,
even less than the Amazon games that have come out. Besides New World, which New World was okay and then it wasn't. But
well, I hear it's fine. It's still there.
Yeah, just everyone, like a bunch of us were playing it, and then
it didn't get unreleased, at least.
Yeah, that's very true. Not like Crucible. So Haven was that studio that Raymond was heading up, though, and they were partnering with PlayStation to bring, I guess, technically a second party game. And it was going to be a multiplayer game. That multiplayer game is now a first party game because they were bought by Sony, and it makes sense for a couple reasons here. One, they're being made from the ground up, so they're very early in, I guess you could say, molding and creation, and they're also incredibly cheap because they have no games under their belt.
And aren't they a Canadian studio too?
I believe they are, because
I think that was one of the things that, like, I think it was Herman Holst made a point of saying, is like, now we have like an actual studio in Canada, like, so it was like just a point of pride of saying like, now we have like a group like in another country as well.
Before that, when Raymond was making the studio, she said like this would be a new studio for Canadian developers and stuff. Yeah. The cool thing about this too is, I mean, like, obviously, like I said, they're cheap and it's all this kind of stuff, but this is coming right off the heels of Bungie being bought, and Bungie potentially helping Sony create around, what they say, like 10 service games and 10 games that could really bring in like that community aspect. And it makes sense now that right after they bought Bungie, all of a sudden they go, you know what, we want to invest further in Haven, because not only before it was like, oh, they're making a multiplayer game and it'll be cool for us. Now it's, they're making a multiplayer game, but now that we own them and we own Bungie, there can be some cross-pollination there, and Bungie will help. I can guarantee you this is going to be one of those 10 service games now.
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Bungie's going to help out there. So now there's going to be a lot more growth. And I don't know exactly what kind of multiplayer game it could be, considering, Raymond's background. Like I said, Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs is third person. Battlefront was first person. It could be an FPS that's first or third person. It could be something else completely different. We don't really know what direction this can potentially go, and how many different types of multiplayer games Sony will want now, considering all the service. Like, that's the thing. They made sure to reiterate, hey, we're big on single player, like AAA games like God of War and Ghost of Tsushima and stuff. But you could see they are wanting to now expand and utilize Bungie to the fullest with multiplayer and service. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what kind of game this is going to be. I don't know how long it'll be till we actually see it. I'm going to say we'll get a tease in 1 year minimum, 2 year max, I think.
Well, I don't know. They did say one of the things that they mentioned was like the game that they are currently working on is like way ahead of developments, like just coming along really quickly. Apparently, I guess miracles can happen sometimes in game development, but
maybe
we could see something sooner. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like the first time we see something from it, it's like next year or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, they'll probably have some form of showcase around August or something. I'm not too sure, but I don't think we'll see it there.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely see what happens.
If anything, they could maybe do like one
of those cinematic trailers or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a short trailer or something like that, like at the end of the year, maybe.
More of like a this is the theme type thing, I guess.
Yeah,
if anything,
something like that.
We'll see.
With the asterisk disclaimer, like very early development.
Yeah, exactly. The usual of what we see. But that's it for the news, and we can
only half an hour in.
Yeah, and we'll spend just a little bit of time talking about some stuff. I got multiple things here, I guess. Do you want to start off, or should I hit in?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, like I'll start real quick. Just because I actually do have a new movie I haven't seen before. Yesterday we went to see Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. That title does get me. Yeah, I wanted to say I'm pretty sure that I've seen most of Miyazaki's films, and I'm pretty sure I've seen at least a majority, but there are some that I guess have just like fallen through the cracks. I thought I had seen Nausicaa at some point. I don't believe so, because watching it yesterday, I was just like, damn, this movie's super cool. How have I never seen this movie?
Yeah, it's one of his earliest. I want to say is of the Ghibli movies, this is like the first one besides Castle Cagliostro, I want to say.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you covered it for
Sutro Sidetalk
at some point. And
look up the episode number for that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know, it very quickly became one of my favorite Miyazaki films. Just I love the mystery of what even was the 7 days of fire. Where did those warriors come from? Why did they spread that weird toxic spore stuff all over the planet once they died? The world that's left is super interesting. The giant insects that are dangerous and vicious, but also malevolent as long as you leave them alone and stuff like that. The Ohm being super intelligent and empathetic creatures. I don't know. It's just a very cool world and just very interesting characters. I forget the name of her, but the warrior lady and the golden armor from the enemy nation was just super cool. I don't know. It's I feel like a broken record. Very cool movie. Definitely worth a watch. If someone listening has never watched it, definitely worth a watch.
No, it's definitely awesome. It's my favorite Ghibli movie, and it is awesome because I love that it hits up a lot of environmental stuff. And I don't know why I'm leaning away from everything. It hits up a lot of environmental stuff, and it just has the right amount of action that's not over the top, but it's enough where it's fun. Because obviously, if you want crazy, oh hey, heads are blobbed off, you watch Princess Mononoke and stuff. But the vast array of movies that Miyazaki does, and how it kind of, I guess you could say it gets more tame as it goes. Like you don't really get the fun action anymore. You don't get
Um,
the environmental stuff to an extent.
it's always like a running theme in his movies, though.
More or
Like,
less, yeah.
yeah,
Just not as, I guess, not in this way. And
yeah. This movie is very heavily like we need to learn to live with the planet and not like try to dominate it and
yeah,
stuff like that.
and it's, I guess, just the sheer combination of things that you get in this. I think it's the one thing that disappointed me from Miyazaki was like I watch, if that's like your first film you watch, you're like, oh my god, so are they all like this? And they're like, no, there's like one kind of, and then you go, oh well, did he make anything else like that? And they're like, no, and you're like, fuck.
Eh.
So you like did it the first time and never went back. But yeah,
Yeah, honestly, if you compared this movie to Kiki's Delivery Service, it's like a
or
completely different movie. I mean, it
his
is.
it
It's
is
just,
his third movie, My Neighbor Totoro, or like the
yeah,
fourth
that's
movie,
like
I guess.
totally different. I mean,
Yeah.
still kind of like living with the environment a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I ever watched Totoro either.
Oh,
That's
that
another one that
was,
fell through the cracks.
yeah, I never watched Ponyo. There's multiple ones I haven't
That
seen
one I
yet.
did see.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
But
I saw it in theaters with Chris.
it was episode 5 of Sutro Sidewatch though. So and if anyone wants to like listen to a really good in-depth discussion, it's myself, Texas Brandon, and my buddy Miles. And we get really in depth on Nausicaa. We even talk about Miles talks about the manga behind it.
Hmm.
So we talk about all the differences and everything else. It's really good. We talk about the voice cast, all about all of it. It's a very fun discussion for a good hour. Actually, I think it was like an hour and a half because we actually got so into it. But yeah, I guess for me, sticking in the animation area, I got 2 Gundam shows to go over that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time now. The 2 90s Gundam shows from the Universal Century, Victory Gundam, which I'll start there with that. Uh, I've been going through, I kind of made it my little like anime quest to go through all of the Universal Century Gundam shows from like the late 70s start all the way to the current run, where I think the newest one actually came out last year called Hathaway. And I just finished the 90s and stuff. And Victory Gundam is interesting because it's like one of those, it's one of the 2 future shows where it takes place well after like all the big stuff with like Amuro and Char and like the Zeon and Federation, like Civil War stuff. And instead it's like I forget what it's called, but it's like a different type of uh rebellion this time. And they're a lot less, I guess you could say, like they don't feel justified like the Xeon did. And it's a very different type of show than I guess the other versions, because the other versions are usually like, oh, it's kids brought into war and they're new types and they have to like pilot these Gundams and stuff. And it is again, and there's all these like younger characters, but this specific show gives off a very strange aura of depression compared to the other
Hmm.
ones, where they consistently kill off characters that you want to learn more about or enjoy. Like it's a weird one where this time they're like, oh, we have the Shrike team. And you're like, who's the Shrike team? And it's like, oh, it's an all-female squadron of mobile suit pilots. And they're all there and they're all helping this young guy. Actually, shit, I can't remember his name now. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit of time. But the main character, he's a young kid whose father is actually the leader of like their organization, and his mom is I want to say a scientist or like one of the designers for the Gundam. She ends up actually dying at a certain point in front of him too, which is really
Oh,
fucked up. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But the Shrike team, what are like all the, it's like basically they go, it's a team of all these beautiful women, and you're like, oh my god, and they're all like highly talented, and one by one they get killed like every other episode or each episode. Like you
damn.
watch one die, and you're like, the other ones are like talking, and the young pilot is talking to them like, I don't want you to die too, and all this stuff, and they're like, don't worry, I won't. Same episode, fucking dies, and you're
Oh my
like, oh my
god.
god. And like there's one dude who's like there's a guy in charge of the squadron, and he of course has like a relationship with this other female pilot that isn't part of that team. She's like the only female pilot not part of the team, so ironically she's the only one that lives, but he gets her pregnant, dies immediately after, and you're just like, dude, I don't understand why of all of the shows this one has the most amount of death. Like even one of the, like there's a few boys that are pilots, and even at the end one of the boys die too, and they like do not hold back. Like I kid you not, like the messages the other ones usually go through, or like the areas that they cover, are more or less like you feel the squad grow and stay alive for the most part. This one was just like death coming left and right, and it was crazy how much it happened. But
Damn.
it's also like a weird future one too, where uh like I said, it's like after everything else, and even like there's like a female character who switches sides, and it was the reasoning for it's really stupid. She's like, I fell in love with this dude who's kind of a prick, but whatever. And he ends up like dying, and then she goes blind at the end. And it's funny too, because it all starts on this one home planet. Like it's all the kids' home planet. It's this woman's I think her name is Katajina. It's her home planet too. And they all like getting caught up in the war and stuff. And piece by piece, like by the end of it, they come back, and it's like, oh, we're back, and we're here to like, you know, grow up and raise ourselves as like a family for whoever's left. And it's funny because it's like all the kids that survived, because when you look at the adults, majority of them die, to the point where the oldest ones literally kamikaze their ship into
Oh my God.
the enemy fleet. So you're like, oh, this show literally has no survivors. Like it's ending with like the vast
That's a
majority.
literal like Shakespearean tragedy.
It honestly kind of was. Yeah, it's really it's pretty
Interesting.
fucked up. Like because for some reason the main kid loves this woman even when she betrays them, and one by one she's the reason a bunch of the other characters get killed too.
Oh.
And she survives it too, but somehow gets blind. And when she's blind, she's just like wandering, trying to get back to the town she came from. And they don't even realize it's her. They're just like, because she has like a
That's
shawl
sad.
on.
Oh.
And it's just like, dude, am I supposed to be like happy by the end of this show? Because I think I know. All right, I remember now. I was watching this when my leg was when I sprained my leg, so I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, this will make me feel better. I'll finally catch up on Gundam. And I'm
And it's
like,
just so
but
much worse.
dude, I remember
I
finishing
replaced
it.
my physical pain with emotional pain.
I straight up was like, I now not only can I not move, but I'm depressed and can't move. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. So the designs themselves for the Gundams really cool though. It's like, you know, still white Gundams. They would do like some small improvements with the different like marks and stuff, but it was fun. I don't think I liked I don't think I like Future Gundam that's like past the Federation Xeon stuff. Like I prefer, even though it's the same universe, I prefer staying in that like point of time. The only one I still liked was like F91, which was like that movie that should have been like a show or multiple movies, and then they just somehow didn't finish it, and it's just an unfinished one. I talked about
Oh,
it.
weird.
I talked about it. I don't know how many episodes ago, but it was one where it was actually like so intriguing, where I'm like, this could potentially actually be the best Gundam story that I've seen, but they never finished it. And I was like, I don't understand. So I went from, oh, this is the best one, it didn't finish, to, oh, I guess well, I'll watch this now. Oh, I'm depressed. So it was horrible. The other Gundam show I watched right after, though, is the one that everyone's told me I would love, and I've been waiting to watch it for so long, and it's an OVA. Instead, like, because Victor Gun was like, it was long. It was like 50 something episodes, I want to say. Whereas this show was, you know, OVAs are like shorter. This one was like, I want to say 12 episodes or something, maybe 13. I could be wrong, maybe less. But 8th MS team. And it's like Gundam Vietnam, where it takes place during the 1 year war, where it's like the main war, the first show takes place during, when it's just like Amuro and them fighting the Xeon the whole time. But during the war, they're fighting on Earth, and there's different types of like fights going on. And this one is in Southeast Asia, and it's just a battalion of the soldiers that are just stationed there. So it's not really space, it's just like land battles and stuff. And the Gundams in this one aren't like the usual, like, spacefaring mobile suits that are flying around. These are like walking Gundams that's it. They just walk, and they got shields and guns, and that's all they are. And
they don't fly, like, weird,
because they don't fly.
They literally have flown since like the first series.
They're the 8th Mobile Suit Infantry Team, pretty much. So it's really cool seeing it, because the intro itself is amazing. The feel and the theme are all amazing, because it feels like Gundam Vietnam. You're just like, oh, this is really cool. They're fighting the Xeon here. There's guerrillas that are native to the land that are helping them. They like kind of form an alliance to fight the Xeon, more or less. And it is good until it gets a little too outside. Like, I honestly really just wanted a battle of the week episode where they're just like fighting in the jungle, and I wanted that for like, I honestly would have loved it if it was just that for like 30 episodes, and I would have been completely satisfied. But instead, at a certain point, they get into like Ensign Shiro, it was the commander, but like I think his name was Shirochi, I want to say. No, I can't remember now. Shit. But damn, I'm forgetting all the fucking names. But the point is, like, I have to look it up now to double check now, because I'm actually losing my mind on this. The main character, who's like the commander of his unit, falls in love with this Xeon scientist girl. And like, they had met each other in space right before coming to the planet, because he was still being transferred there, and there was like a small battle in between where they both had to like survive together. But I think it was Ensign Shiro Amada was his name, or maybe that was Stardust Memories. Shit, I'm like mixing up different Gundam shows now. I have to look this up though.
I feel like at a certain point, like, I didn't even realize there were so many Gundam shows. I knew there were like several, but I feel like at a certain point they might all blend together, except for the ones that aren't in the same timeline.
No, it was Shiro Amada. Haha. Yeah, no, that's right. All right, cool. Yeah, no, it was so him and Ina Sahalin, she's the scientist, they fall in love, and the Xeon are making like this crazy super weapon that's like a giant ball that can just basically shoot it's almost like a Death Star kind of, but just not Death Star tier, much smaller. And
that's no moon.
Yeah, but instead it's just like, oh, we could shoot explosives that are strong. It's not going to destroy the planet. It's just going to annihilate like the base in front of us, maybe.
Okay.
It's a lot smaller. It's not like it's like a mini Death Star.
So it's not like a planet killer, but it'll still like fuck up.
No, it's just like it's like a unit killer, or like a battalion killer, I guess you could say. Yeah. Yeah, because the Xeon are like working on this experiment there, and that's why like they're in the area, because they've been building this. But more or less, like, they start becoming like unhinged with their progress. Like Ina's brother is the main guy making it, and he becomes like insane, to where he like takes control of it and doesn't care about all the Xeon that are dying to make it happen. So it turns from cool like jungle warfare battles to just like Shiro kind of going AWOL to help Ina, and like, because he's like, we don't need to fight a war, and they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? Don't fight the war. What are you talking about, dude? And it ends up with them like teaming up. They stop the weapon, and it almost seems like they died, and it turns out like Shiro got like, I think he lost his leg or something, but they end up living in like a cabin somewhere, and she gets like pregnant, and they're basically just going to start a family, and he's KIA because everyone thinks he's dead. But like two of the characters, like, it's weird because like it's like 12 episodes of this, and the 13th is like a weird thing of like two of the characters find them at the end, and then you don't even see the rest of the squad for that final episode. They're just gone. Like they're just like, yeah, everyone got transferred to different units after, and it just feels very
Interesting.
unfulfilling. Where because it's like they build up with this crew of guys, and it's really fun seeing them all, and you really enjoy a lot of it. And then it gets into like, you know, end game type stuff where you're like, oh, okay, this is the final fight and all this shit. And then it just kind of has like a weird like, hey, look, it's us looking for the commander because we know he's still alive, even though it felt like he died. And oh, there he is. Okay, the show's over. And you're like, the fuck? What? So it's like, it's all good until the very end, and then the very end it just feels depressing again a little bit. I don't know if it was just like the time of the 90s where the guys making Gundam just weren't feeling good, or what was going on. I'm not too sure, because I know, like, you know, right before all this was all the crazy stuff. Like you had the main Gundam shows in the movie, and it's like a full like 3 series in one movie, like story that's like continuous about all these characters. And then like you get these smaller ones that have more of like a better payoff, where like Stardust Memories and Pocket War in the Pocket are more like stories that feel consistent start and finish, where they do feel satisfying by the end, and you're like, you're not really unfulfilled by the end of it, and you feel like you got a lot out of it. And then for some reason these 2 shows were like, Victory feels completed, it just feels depressing. And then 8th MS Team feels incomplete by the end, where you feel like you wanted more, and you think it deserved more than like 13 episodes.
That sucks.
Yeah. But ironically enough, like because of how good it was, it is still probably one of my favorites, just for the sheer theme and those earlier episodes before like the end kind of came in and did what it needed to do. And I got like I'm getting close now, because there's like 3 mini shows coming up for the 2000s. Like it's, for some reason, each series is 3 episodes that are like 30 minutes. So it's only like 9 episodes, three series. And when you put them all together, it's just 9 30-minute episodes. And that's the entirety of like Universal Century in the 2000s. And then you get to like the 2010s, which is where I started watching Gundam. And that's where it gets insane. So I'm kind of excited, like where I'm closing in on like the final stuff of Gundam, because I only got like 20 years worth of it left, but it's not actually that much when you go through to watch it. Like, I think because there's so many different Gundam universes, like there's Mobile Suit Gundam, there's Gundam Seed, Gundam Wing, G Gundam, because they rotate through them all. There's not actually that much in each decade of like each specific universe when you actually kind of look through into it, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, that's my Gundam talk.
All right. I think we're at like 48 minutes. Yeah. So that's probably a good place to stop.
Yeah, I'm good, because I had to drink water there, because I'm like, oh, my throat, it's killing me. But all right, I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching and listening. You can find us at sutrosidetalk@gmail.com. Send us any feedback, comments, questions, all that good stuff. Subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. And if it's Apple Podcasts, 5-star review. Spotify, rate us. YouTube, give us a like and subscribe. And follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter @Sutro Sidetalk. Follow James on Twitter @InvaderJim124. And follow me at Twitter @GoGoComzilla. Like I said, we were just doing a short episode today, just getting some small stuff out. But we will have our big Destiny 2 episode next week, talking Season of the Lost, Witch Queen, Season of the Risen, the Raid, all of it. We got Horizon 2 coming. We've got all types of other stuff coming. We got a ton of stuff in the works. So we definitely won't have issues finding topics, I guess you could say. Yeah, that'll be easy.
Not for a while now.
Yeah. But until next week, have a good one. So long.
Thanks for listening.